Hi everyone. I just met with the North American node and I forgot to hit record when I gave my introduction and talked about the project. So I'm recording it again to send out to everyone who couldn't make it to the meeting. So I'll share my screen and show you a few slides. Okay, so this project, Leonard Bach and I came up with this project. Leonard and I know each other from Germany. We both did our PhD in Germany at GEOMA in Kiel. We're both biogeochemists by training and somehow ended up relatively close to each other at the other end of the world. So Leonard is at the University of Tasmania. I'm pretty sure most of you will have heard of him. He's pretty well known in the mCDR field. So my name is Lynn Hoffman. I'm at the University of Otago. I'm also a marine biogeochemist by training. I have a background in trace metal biogeochemistry. I did my PhD on iron fertilization, and I also worked quite a lot on ocean acidification over the years and have more recently moved into the mCDR space. So Leonard and I came up with this project idea. And the general idea is that we feel we need to get a better understanding, and especially a global one, how we monitor, report, and verify the effectiveness of the different mCDR techniques. Of course, there are lots of different techniques, from more coastal ones to open ocean ones. We are well aware that there's a lot of work happening in North America on this topic. North America is definitely leading this field and the scientific community. But for this project, we would really like to include also the other continents more, and especially the global south, and get a holistic global understanding of what the scientific community thinks, where we still have open questions that we need to answer. So the aim for this overall project is to reach a consensus and across the scientific community, or at least to understand where we disagree. What monitoring, reporting, and verifying in this mCDR field should encompass. So our timeline is relatively strict. We really would like to have a defined outcome by the end of the year. So the first 3 months were us establishing those 6 regional or continental nodes. For each node, we want the people to agree on a leader who will be our contact point, and who will organize meetings within each node. And each node will work independently during the next phase 2, which is the actual working phase, which should only be about 4 months. And there we want each node to work on developing those guidelines. And we have come up with several questions that we would like each node to answer, so that there's a general structure that everyone follows. So just the timeline again here, the overview. We are in the node leader election phase. Some nodes already have elected their leaders and have moved into the working phase. We're just meeting with the North American and the European node now. So the red cross here is where we are at the moment. And then we have 4 months of the working phase. And after that, we will, with the node leaders together, synthesize all the feedback from the different nodes, and then in the end, publish a policy brief. So the questions that we came up with, as I said, we would like everyone to answer those specific questions so that we can compare the feedback from the different nodes. So for monitoring, we came up with those 3 questions, and we don't really want people to kind of vote on this or have a kind of a questionnaire for question 1, for example, how far into the future do we need to monitor removed CO2? We don't want people to vote if it's like 10 years or 100 years or whatever it might be. Of course, there should be a little bit of feedback and a little bit of explanation to this, but relatively concise. So those are the questions for monitoring. And then moving on to reporting, we only have those 2 questions. The most important one, of course, how and in which form we should make the data available so that we can make sure that everyone worldwide has access to them, and then how we should deal with potential residual uncertainty in this framework. And for verification, I think that's probably the biggest unknown so far. Who is going to verify those data? We would need to agree globally on some kind of entity to verify the data, and how should they be verified, and then which agency would be overseeing that progress. Is it an agency that we already have in place, or do we potentially have to come up with a new one? For each node, there might be disagreement on certain points, and that's totally fine. Our idea is really just to report back what the nodes report to us. So it might not be possible to answer all of the questions satisfactorily, and there might be open questions still that people can't agree on, and there might also be disagreement within each node. And that's actually the feedback that we would like to hear and that we will then report. So we don't really expect by the end to come up with a global policy paper that we can then immediately implement. Of course not, but we would really like to highlight in this process where there's still disagreement and where we might have points that we need to reach global consensus on before we can implement mCDR on a global level, because it will affect everyone. So everyone globally needs to have a fair say. In early June, we are going to check in with each node, but we really don't want to interfere with the node. So of course, we have our own opinions and ideas about this, but we want each node to work independently and not to be influenced by us. So we're just going to check in, see how things are going, and if there are major controversial subjects, hopefully there are not going to be any fights about this. But as I said, there does not always need to be consensus. And then we will also send out a short questionnaire so that everyone has a chance to give feedback. So we don't want, it could be that, for example, the leaders of each nodes are more senior people that have a very strong opinion and might be a little overpowering. And some of the more shy junior people maybe feel that they don't have a fair say, maybe. I don't know, hopefully not. But if that's the case, we would like to hear from everyone. So we're going to send out a short questionnaire to everyone. And then by the end of July, the node leaders will submit a synthesis, just a 3-page synthesis of what they've worked on. So the answers to those questions we sent out. And we are going to be quite strict on this 3-page limit, because we want each node to have an equal representation and a fair representation. So if one node only submits a few bullet points and another node submits a 50-page summary, then it's going to be very difficult for us to represent those equally in our final report. So just a 3-page summary at the end of July. And then in August and September, we will work together with the group leaders to write up this synthesis report. And then we will publish this in form of a policy brief, and all active participants that have actively participated in working during this active working phase, they will be co-authors. So, of course, these projects, or the mCDR in general, is a major, very wide field, and there are lots of different topics that people are interested in or that people feel are especially important. But for this project, we really want to focus on MRV only. We hope that there will be something developing from this project, and maybe under the SOLAS umbrella, we can move forward as a global group, or maybe the individual nodes or parts of the nodes will keep working on other fields. Maybe we as a group come up with the next topic to tackle, and in a similar way. That would be amazing if we could come up with something else afterwards. But for this project, we really want to have a very defined project, just focusing on MRV and a very concise time frame. That was my presentation. I'm just gonna quickly say a few more words before I stop this, and then I'll send out the recording of the questions afterwards as well. So what's really important for us is that we have global representation here. So we feel that's what stands out from the other projects that maybe also work on MRV at the moment, that we have a massive focus on getting global representation, especially the global south. And we're well aware that a lot of work is happening in North America already. So for some of you, it might sound like it's a bit repetitive compared to other projects, but for other regions, this is a relatively new thing. So in other parts of the world, there's not much research happening in this area. And because it is a topic of global interest and it will impact everyone, we feel it's very important that we hear from every part of the world equally. All right, so I'll stop this recording now. I hope that everyone is interested, or everyone who is interested will participate, and I hope to hear back from you guys soon. Thank you.